look at the number one goal that you're focused on, the number one thing that you want to achieve in your life, that thing, that elusive thing that you're currently working towards or dreaming of, when you've achieved that thing, what will it mean about you as a person versus you now? So I have this friend, she's a really successful musician. She's been on the radio and she's really, really good. And she's one of my best friends, and we often talk about our careers and next steps and what we want to do. And so she's been talking to me about her music career, and I'm talking to her about styling, how I want to move into fashion. I do marketing and styling, but I really want to move into the fashion arena even more and just concentrate on that. So we go back and forth, and we have these calls every week. And we have these accountability calls where we share what our goals are, what we're going to do next, and we really keep each other on top of things. And this week she asked me, when you look at the number one goal that you're focused on, the number one thing that you want to achieve in your life, that thing, that elusive thing that you're currently working towards or dreaming of, when you've achieved that thing, what will it mean about you as a person versus you now? So if it's lots of money that you're trying to manifest and bring into your life, and you imagine yourself as a millionaire, what will getting that money mean and say to the outside world about you as a person, and for you to say to yourself about you as a person versus the person that you are now without the money? If it's your dream career, like it's music, or it's to be on TV, or it's to become a top lawyer, once you get that career, what does that mean about you? What will people say about you? How will you feel about yourself versus how you feel now? Maybe it's just a job promotion that you're focused on. Maybe you want a house, 2 up, 2 down. Maybe you want to be married with kids. Once you get those things, how will you feel? That feeling of I finally did it. I finally got it. What will that say about you as a person then versus now, without the house, without the kids, without the partner, without the job? And that question really led me to think, apart from the practicalities of what reaching my goals would have, what type of person will I feel like once I've finally done the thing? And it made me realize actually how many things I'm holding off allowing myself to take ownership of and identify as until I reach certain points in my life. For example, I work in marketing at the moment. I'm really successful at it. I love it. I've worked with a really great range of different clients on different campaigns and different brands. But until I get certain fashion clients and certain types of causes, I want to work with independent brands. I want to work with brands owned by women and brands that are trying to make a difference in the world. Until I work with them, there's this voice in the back of my head that says that every small business, every local business, every fashion e-commerce, kind of broad fashion business that I work with is not quite the level that I'm trying to get to. Even though those are really big achievements in themselves, helping small business is a great thing to do. I've done it time and time again, and it's always really nice to help the economy, to help small businesses to get off the ground. It's really fulfilling. Often when you're working in a small company, you are really close to the people who own the company, who are running it. So there's a really deep sense of satisfaction. You can see the difference you're making. But for some reason, because I'm putting fashion and independent brands and changing the world on a pedestal, is that then taking away from all the good things that I'm doing in between? The same goes for helping loved ones and using any success that I build in the future to change the lives of the people around me. I've noticed I have certain goals of things that I want to do, and I dream and I sit and I imagine and I know exactly what I will do. But in the meantime, actually, on a daily basis, I am faced with opportunities to help my loved ones in maybe what feels to me like smaller ways, but actually it's the days make up the months, make up the years. And although I have these big plans for maybe the next couple of years, in between there are, let's do the math, 730 days at least, say in 2 years, that I can help those people in other ways. That's 730 days, up to 730 days that I can be helping them to enjoy life. They've still got 730 days to live and do the ins and outs, and actually, instead of only focusing on this one goal, this one particular imagination that I have, I can also in the meantime be helping them in so many ways that actually might be more meaningful to them in the long run, because you're living life every day, and although there's goals and exciting things to look towards, the time in the lead up to that is still life lived. And if we don't, I think, stop and appreciate those days in the lead up, what will often happen is people get to the big goal, they spent all this time, days, weeks and years leading up to the goal, and they get there and they expect that suddenly things are going to feel magical and they're going to feel really different, and actually it's just another day. And sure, you may have the Oscar, you may have the director level job, you may have the company, you may have millions of pounds, but it's still just another day in your life. And you can buy things, sure, you can have experiences, but eventually, if the success is lasting, those things will fade a little bit and you'll still have your day-to-day life behind them. And so what I'm trying to do is take the time now to really evaluate what things am I putting on a pedestal, what things am I telling myself that I'm going to feel when I get X, Y, Z, and what's actually stopping me from feeling those things now. I could tell myself that I'm really going to have made it as a marketer when I take a really small sustainable brand and take them to being like a worldwide company servicing loads of people. I could tell myself that I'll really make it as a stylist when I get signed by, again, a really cool independent fashion brand, an independent house who are making really beautiful handmade clothes in a really thoughtful way. But actually, I'm doing a great job right now with those things. I really enjoy doing marketing for the smaller businesses. It's probably, in some way, more impactful because the people who I'm helping now really need the help and don't really know where to turn, whereas maybe the big companies that I'm going to work for eventually will pick me out of hundreds of people they've got lined up. Same for the fashion styling. I actually really love the kind of nitty-gritty, hustly style of fashion styling that we're doing now, where we're sourcing clothes from here, there and everywhere, and I'm carrying everything on my back, and we're, scrambling models together at the last minute and coming up with concepts, just two of us, and there's no one in our ears, it's all us, it's all art. And actually, what if when we do land the big fashion clients that we want, these really beautiful, handmade, independent brands and cool clothes, what if actually maybe those bigger companies have tons of red tape? Maybe the briefs for those campaigns actually aren't nearly as freeing as the briefs are now when we're doing it all ourselves. Maybe the models at that level aren't as relatable as the real everyday people who we're finding on the street and organising shoots with. And when I've helped my loved ones and given them all these shiny things that money and success can buy, when they're sat in their shiny house, sat in their car, going to their fancy gym, whatever it is, they're still going to be the same person with the same memories, and what they're going to be thinking about in those times is the last few years of their life, the day in, the day out, and what's really going to stay in their minds and in their hearts is how they felt during those times and how I and other loved ones showed up in the day-to-day in those times. That's what's important at the end of the day. And it's funny because I've always viewed delayed gratification as a good thing. I've always thought that I'm really smart by holding off, waiting until I get something to feel excitement. I sometimes will buy clothes and leave them in the wardrobe with the tags on for a long, long time, just because the sheer excitement of having the thing then is still being built up a little bit more. And I think there's something to be said for that, not diving into the chocolate cake as soon as it's laid out on the table, not wearing everything as soon as you get it and using everything, because as human beings we do get fatigued, it's absolutely true. But if you go too much to the extreme of delayed gratification, you can put that thing so much on a pedestal that when you finally bite into the chocolate cake, it's actually not as delicious if you've built it up in your head. When you finally try on the dress, maybe it's just a dress, worse still, maybe it doesn't fit anymore. And you can do this with not just material small things, but you can do this with life goals, with people, relationships. How many times do we build up expectations of relationships and romance and things in our head, telling ourselves, when I finally get the one, it's going to feel like this and it's going to be like the movies. And how many people in relationships do we know who's actually have fireworks and those feelings all day, every day? Same with friendships. Sometimes we can tell ourselves, if I only had friends, I would be doing this, that and the other, my lifestyle would be this. And then when you get friends, actually, it's a little bit stressful sometimes to manage the social calendar. Sometimes people don't want to do things, sometimes personalities don't mix, things clash. All friendships have ups and downs, and it's not actually all that it's cut out to be when you don't have it. It's that whole grass is greener thing. There's a reason that often athletes will win the Super Bowl or the World Cup and be madly depressed straight after. Actors will finally get the Oscar. Singers will win the Grammys, win a Grammy, and then cry that night because they've done the thing, they've got there, and now what? They're still them. Their life is still their life. They'll achieve the thing and then go home that night and feel empty inside, because at the end of the day, they're still them. A job title, a partner, an award doesn't change you as a person. And so going back to the original question, what I'm doing now is asking myself, what gratification of me as a person, of my identity, am I delaying taking ownership or claim of until I've reached a goal? Actually, maybe I can consider myself to be a really good marketeer right now, and it doesn't take a specific client or campaign to do that. Maybe I can consider myself to be a great stylist right now without needing a big magazine or a fancy fashion house to validate that. Maybe I can help my loved ones every single day, as well as the day when I get to get them the big thing. And actually, in really important times, I think I'm always going to remember the person who walked in the snow to bring me groceries or called me up a few times a week just for company, more than the person who, you know, won and whatever, a bunch of money and gave me some of it. And so not only am I asking myself what delayed gratification can I actually claim right now, but also how can I lean into those qualities in my everyday life right now? How can I go through my job as a marketer, as a stylist, and really feel like a great marketer and a great stylist and love every day of my work because I take ownership of that? How can I do little things to help my loved ones and feel really proud that I've just made their day better every day? It's really easy to do a phone call, a WhatsApp message, a favour here and there. Sometimes just smiling at someone, being nice to people can make such a difference. Imagine if you had somebody give you something material, but no one ever smiled at you. Everyone you came across was like miserable in their own world. Life would still feel comparatively really crappy. And it's actually those little things in life that make life really happy. There's a man who drives a tourist bus around here, and I don't know him, he doesn't know me, but every day that we've seen each other, just in passing, I walk every day and he's obviously driving his bus. And every day that we pass each other, he'll ring the bell of this tourist bus. It's like one of those open-sided buses. And I'll wave, and it's such a simple interaction, but that I guarantee you I will remember when I'm old more probably than friends who have done like material things. I mean, material acts of kindness are good, sure, but something from the heart like that, you just can't replace. And so a challenge I'm setting myself now is to look at my everyday and look at what things I'm kind of holding back on enjoying because I'm waiting to replace them with something better or waiting to achieve something better, and really like enjoy them for what they are. Obviously I have things I want to get. There's like some fancy slippers that are on my to-do list, but it doesn't mean that I can't enjoy my like cheapy fluffy slippers that I have now. There's some fancy teas that I want to get when I'm next in London next month, but I still bloody love my like normal tea. There's a fancy coffee machine that I really want to get, but it doesn't mean that I don't adore my black French press coffee every morning. And it's things like that that I really want to just drink in and enjoy. And I think if I really enjoy those things to the max that I can now, if and when I am able to upgrade them, it's gonna feel even better because I will know what it feels like to fully enjoy the simple version of these things. And then when I get the next level version, I won't have spent so much time focusing on putting it on a pedestal. The coffee from the coffee machine probably actually will be smoother because I haven't spent all my time fixating on it. I've enjoyed the French press coffee to the extent that I know every single different aroma that's in it. So when I get my smooth coffee from the coffee machine, there'll be something completely different to focus on. So in other words, I'm not focusing on anything that I don't have right now. I'm really just looking at my life, my relationships, what I can do for people right now. And I'm going to take so much pride and joy in that. And then I think through doing that often, especially if you believe in manifestation and that kind of thing, they say that you can't get to happy over there from unhappy over here. That's something that I've heard Esther Hicks say. And I think it's really true. It's only when you can truly find fulfillment in where you are right now and what you have around you and who you have around you. If that means making changes, make changes. But when you can really enjoy those things, that's often when we least expect it, when we actually attract newer, bigger things into our life. And how exciting is that?